So what most people don't know is that when you order an acai bowl, it's actually not always that healthy, but I'm gonna teach you ways to make it healthy at home or learn how to custom order it when you're out. Hey guys, today's video is all about acai. We're gonna go into what it is for anyone that doesn't know what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. Go into acai bowls, which are pretty trendy right now. I know they're kind of considered a health food, but what I want to show you is that for the most part, they're really, really loaded with sugar, and it's not always the healthiest when you order it out, but I'm going to teach you how to modify it, make it super healthy and filling at home, and just get into all the details. So first, let's just talk about acai in general. So this is acai, A-C-A-I. I know if you haven't heard of it, it might sound like acai. I've heard a lot of different things. I didn't know how to pronounce it at first either, but that's how you say it. It's basically this like amazing wild berry from the Amazon. It's packed with antioxidants. I feel like acai wasn't as mainstream before, but now it's so common. You see it in smoothie bowls, acai bowls. Acai bowls are the one thing that really kind of inspired me to make this video, because I don't like when I guess I feel bad when people are trying to eat healthy and maybe lose a little extra weight, and then you're tricked into thinking something is healthy. So acai on its own, in its pure form, is actually very healthy. It's lean, but when you get it in a bowl, there's a lot of extra junk added. So first of all, let's talk about it on its own. One reason why it's such a unique fruit is because there's zero sugar. So all fruit, except for technically an avocado, has sugar naturally. And I'm okay with it in moderation. I eat fruit every day. I think it's the most detoxing food. I think it has so many benefits. It's not good to not eat it, but you do have to limit it. Acai has zero sugar. So on its own, you shouldn't have a super sugary fruit. If you were to just blend this and taste it, it's actually quite bitter. It doesn't taste super sweet because there's no sugar. When you buy acai, if you want to get it like at a grocery store, always make sure you're buying it unsweetened. Because it tastes bitter, a lot of different brands that will make it sweet. In fact, Sambazan also makes a sweetened version, I'm pretty sure. So make sure you always look and there's no sugar added. This is kind of why ordering an acai bowl when you're out isn't always the healthiest, because oftentimes they'll use one that's sweetened. You know, they're trying to cater just to the regular consumer who wants something that tastes really sweet and really sugary and doesn't really think about what else is going into it. So your health is never really the number one concern, unless of course you find an amazing, super healthy, smoothie place. You could always ask. I'm huge on asking. Like even when I order smoothies, I'm like, can I see what protein powder you use? So the unsweetened, no sugar part is kind of what makes it unique. What else makes it unique is that it actually has a good amount of fat. So most fruit doesn't have like the healthy fats added in there. So if you're looking for that, if you're looking for an energy boost, healthy fats are always the number one thing to give you that like quick energy boost, which is kind of why bulletproof coffee will use like ghee. But if you're vegan, you can substitute it with coconut oil or MCT oil. It's supposed to give you that kind of quick jolt of energy, but not that energy, crash and burn. So it's cool for that. When you also order it out in acai bowl, usually what they'll do is basically it's a smoothie bowl. Sometimes they blend. I know there's this one cafe that I won't call out just because I do love them, but they blend like probably 3 or 4 bananas into the acai to make it like almost more of like an ice cream consistency, which bananas are great, but eating 4 of them at a time is definitely pretty high in sugar. And then on top of that, they will add like granola. Sometimes they drizzle honey. They'll add extra fruit. There's just a lot that goes into it. So I always like to also ask like what they're blending in and how they're making it. So one tip I actually got from my friend Sam Ozcorral, actually she's been on my channel before, is that don't blend what you wouldn't eat. So if you're making a smoothie and you put like 4 bananas and like 2 oranges, whatever, would you eat that amount of food normally? Because it's definitely easier to drink it. That's kind of a good way to gauge like how much food you should be consuming and kind of portion yourself. So shout out Sam for that tip. So when I do it, I like to blend it with just 1 banana. And then the key is to only use a very little amount of almond milk or water. When you do too much, that's what makes it soupy. Then you're not going to get that like nice, thicker consistency like ice cream. So you could also blend it with berries, with other fruit if you like. I prefer banana. I like to eat my berries because I enjoy them so much that I always think it's a waste to blend them because then I'm not like getting the taste of them as much, but you could blend however you want. So I have my Vitamix here. I have 2 blenders at home, a Vitamix and a NutriBullet? Yeah, a NutriBullet. But I find that for acai, it blends better in a Vitamix, but of course you could do it in either. So that's about 1 banana. So These come in these packs like this. They are pretty hard to break. So one thing you could do is when you want to have it, run it under a little bit of hot water. I also like to kind of bang it against the counter, and this breaks it up a little bit. So, and as long as you can just kind of slice off the top here, definitely be careful because it's a really beautiful color, but it will stain things. And then plop it in. One other thing about acai I wanted to mention, when it comes to food combining, I know that I normally don't like to add fruit to, like, let's say like seeds or heavier things, but acai is a little bit different, as is banana. They digest a little bit slower. So I always find that when I combine them with different things, they don't make me bloat. They don't feel like as uncomfortable. But of course, do what you have to do. I don't always food combine. I'd say I'm like more of a 70-30, but I know that some of you will ask about adding in some of these toppings with the acai. So I'm gonna do a little bit of almond milk. Start with a little. It's a little more annoying to blend because you've got to like really like mix it around, but you don't want to waste it. So I'm just like pouring a dash. All right, blend. Okay, so you can, I don't know if you can tell, but it's obviously not blending anymore. When it just kind of stops and nothing's happening, I'll usually stop, add a little more almond milk. It actually doesn't need much more though. Kind of give it like a little stir. Yeah, it doesn't need much more at all. Okay. Actually makes a pretty small amount. I'd say it depends on how big. Some people like a really light breakfast. I tend to get a little hungrier, so I usually have bigger portions, but you could always do 2 of the acais and you still aren't getting any sugar. So it also depends on your diet. Some people eat a really low fat diet. Some people like a really high fat diet and a low sugar diet. So that's kind of what's cool about this, is it gives you that option. If you want to do lower fat, you could add in more banana and less acai. If you want to do low sugar but you want a bigger amount, you could do more acai and less banana. So now for toppings. So granola in general is just usually very, very sugary. And again, it's the kind of sugar that they add. But with this, I like to have a little bit of crunch. I think crunch is just good on any food. So I have some options here that will give you a crunch, but also not add any sugar. So we've got some cacao nibs. Cacao, if you watch my channel, you know what cacao is. I talk about it all the time. Super, super high in antioxidants, more than berries. Like amazing for your skin, amazing for your heart, amazing for your body. They are bitter on their own, but the cacao nibs, when they're added in here, all they do is add a crunch. You don't really taste them. So I kind of like to load that up. Also 0 sugar, but higher in fat. I know this isn't like a keto bowl. Everyone's gonna get offended that I'm saying that, but it's more of a high fat breakfast. You can add pumpkin seeds if you want even a little heavier bowl. Shredded coconut, I love. Unsweetened. If you wanted to top with some berries, you could do that. I might just throw a little pumpkin seed on here. And that is your acai bowl. You could even see it's actually like a little soupy. So I probably even added a little bit too much almond milk, and you saw I just poured like the smallest amount. So you really don't need any. I mean, you could add any kind of plant-based milk too. Let's take a bite. So yummy. That's really what I wanted to show you, was how easy it is to make. Now, if you want to go out and order an acai bowl at a smoothie shop, number one, ask what kind of acai they use. If you're really in the mood and they sweeten it, like, of course, you don't have to be so strict. You can get one, but maybe just compensate with the other toppings. So if you know that there's added cane sugar, maybe don't get extra fruit on it. Just ask them for like some unsweetened shredded coconut. Ask if they have any walnuts or seeds or things like that. And of course, this all depends on your diet, like whatever you want. The one thing I will say though is, too much sugar really can mess with your hormones. So weight aside, we're not even really going there. It's not good to add too much sugar into every meal. So it's something I would recommend paying attention to. I also wanted to share one option that you could do is as acai powder. So if you don't have time to make an acai bowl, but you want the benefits of acai, this is such a great little powder you could add to, smoothies, oatmeal. It gives it a really pretty color. Like I said, you could add it into like baked goods. I wanted to experiment adding like a little dash into coffee because I love getting weird like that with superfoods, but I haven't done it yet, so don't quote me. But acai and cacao go really well together. They just the flavors blend well. So I'm thinking if I did like an acai chocolate latte, that could be kind of cool. We'll see. If you guys are into that, let me know in the comments. But that's it. If you have any questions on the ingredients or the recipe, let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.